let's just conclude here
Ouais.
with withdrawing. Okay, so let's say you do make a admission, okay, and then you say, I take it back. Are there take-backsies
Take back. Yeah.
in admissions?
Right.
Okay, I'm going back to my daughter, right? I said,
Yeah.
yeah, I said I could take you tomorrow, but now I'm take-backsies. I can't take you tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
How do you get out of that?
Right.
And the answer is you have to bring a motion. Okay, either the other side agrees or you bring a motion. And there's a legal test. So what you're seeing is actually from case law. Okay. And so the first one is that it's a fact that really matters to a case. Okay. The court doesn't want people to keep running back to court to say, no, I changed my story. I changed my story. Right.
Yeah.
It really has to be something that really matters to the case. Okay, it's kind of a threshold of why are you bothering?
Right.
The second one is probably the most sensible one, which is why did you make the admission in the first place?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, many people make it as most people who make stupid admissions, I'm going to use the word stupid, or it's usually out of inadvertence. In other words, why would you say something that's against your case, right? It's either out of inadvertence or there's some mix-up. Certainly under number 2 is when people have deemed admissions for not providing their response and they need to get out of their deemed admissions. They'll have to say, well, it wasn't, I didn't receive the request to admit, that's why I didn't respond to it, right? Or there was some other, there was a changeover at my lawyer's firm and it got lost in the shuffle. But like something legitimate that the court could say, okay, and maybe the answer for that is, okay, we'll give you another 20 days, and then the last one is balancing prejudice. This third consideration usually comes up also when people want to change their claims, right? So let's say you serve an application or you serve your answer, and then later you say, wait, I forgot to include this claim. Where it comes up a lot is occupation rent. People think that a court case is gonna get resolved rather quickly, and it doesn't. And then a claim that really is over time called occupation rent, like people say, oh my God, I have to put it back into, I have to make a change of pleading. And so there is also how close are we to trial that if you're going to change a fact now, it's going to change the whole course of the trial. There's going to be delay. There's going to have to go back to questioning. Oh, if you're refusing now I have to ask you more questions about that fact, right? So there's going to be some delay. And so we balance it with money.
Right.
If you want to change your facts, then you're going to have to pay some costs.
Right.
That will deal with the prejudice, but sometimes it can't. And the court may say, you know what, you're too late. You're too late. You're too close to trial.
Yeah.
To withdraw your own fact. We're just going to proceed on that basis. Okay. So if you don't respond, it's usually due to inadvertence.
Right.
Sometimes people will say, there were 103 requests and I must have missed number 96 kind of thing. Okay.
Yeah.
This is something, again, it's better to do this proactively, to say, I am not responding to this request to admit because you're abusing the process.
Right.
Okay. But I would even threaten a motion over it. Like I would say, I have to go to court because I'm not going to, I am not within 20 days answering all of these questions because this is an abusive process. There is a lot of case law. It's kind of sad. It's almost like in the breach is the law, right? They say, the law. But there's lots of case law where people don't respond to requests to admit. And the court has to assess what to do about it. We were just talking about, right? So that comes up very much. And then the questions of law, facts of law are generally not given a lot of weight anyway. Sorry, so some reason that got cut off. All right, so that is the starting point. So again, we get to the point of you start a court case, people have different facts. You see how it goes during the discovery phase, right? With the disclosure, even with numbers, with financial stuff, people are starting to put together a Form 13B,
Right.
a Form 13C, where you compare the 13C. So there's
Right.
ways of confirming facts of what is at issue, right?
Right.
And then you get finally to closer to trial, and people are like, okay, we're gonna have to do a request to admit to further narrow which facts are in contest or not. I'm just gonna close with, what if you do admit to a fact that you truly admit to? What happens next, right? And the
Mhm.
answer is that as part of the trial preparation, um, there is something called an agreed statement of facts. Now, there's no specific form for this,
Oh.
okay?
Mm.
It's just you generate a form with the boxes on top,
Yeah.
and then you can list the agreed statement fact, the facts that are agreed to, and you include it in the trial record, and
Mhm.
you give it to the judge, and the judge says, great, now I have stuff to work with. I have, right? So, and the agreed statement of facts could be as much as three things: date of marriage, date of separation, and their birthdays, like something
Yeah. But
like
I
something very simple from back in the day
yeah.
with the application and the answer, right? That the family history was not contested, something like that. That can still
Mhm.
be agreed statement of facts.
Right.
The point, though, is that you don't have to then say, oh, the judge said, very technically, date of marriage. Okay, what's your proof of the date of marriage? We don't think about it that
Yeah.
way, but technically that's what needs to happen. But if you have an agreed statement of facts that both parties agree that the date of marriage is January 1st, 2000, well, then that's the date of marriage.
Right, because I always have to remind myself that in litigation, and one of the terrible things about litigation is that you can present a fact, but then you always have to prove it, especially when it's contentious. I guess during trial, you have to prove it. And this agreed statement of facts saves time because both sides are both sides agree to these facts. So why you don't have to go through all the trouble of finding
Right.
the proof.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's just
Exactly.
very
And
very labor
and
intensive.
right. And think about, on the flip side,
Yeah.
how hard it is to get two people to agree to a compound statement.
Oh.
Right. And so that's why you have to think very simply when you're writing these out, one line at a time,
Yeah.
simple facts.
These are amazing tips. Thanks so much, Shmuel. Now, I still have a few questions as I was going through this myself.
Sure.
And because, I always think that, oh, it's the answers in the rules, and then it's not, right? So